What is going on, guys? Today we're going to be reacting to... Wait, let's move this. Okay. Whoa. Part 2 of World War One, the Seminal Tragedy. One fateful day in June, apparently. Oh my god, I hate cicadas. Shut up! Shut up! Dang. Yeah, not the best lighting, because I'm outside. Yeah, I don't care, you freaking fricks. Now, let's start, without further ado. Extra history.
Alright, the stage is set. Now let's put the players in their places. The curtain opens on the back of a rundown cafe in Belgrade. A young man comes in carrying a package and takes a seat at a table with a handful of other young men huddled around. They still to a hush as he opens the package. Inside is a single piece of paper, a newspaper clipping. The one who brought the package bends over to stare at the page. One of the other young men slides a candle across the table so he can better see. Before him, circled in red, is a headline, and it reads...
I'm confused. How do they know, all of these minor details? I don't know. I just think maybe he's just making it up, so, it sounds cooler. All that extra detail.
Archduke Franz Ferdinand to visit Sarajevo. Now we skip ahead a few weeks. We're outside a palace.
Shucks.
A resplendently dressed man and woman are getting in an open-top car 100 years ago this year. He's dressed in bright, blazing blue. His chest is full of medals. On his head, a grand horsehair cap. She is wearing a flowing white dress and laughing. He helps her into the car. This is Franz Ferdinand, the Archduke of Austria, next in line.
Oh my god. It may just be the picture, but what's all that like? What are all those black dots all over Franz Ferdinand's wife's face? Oh my goodness.
For succession to the throne, accompanied by his wife Sophie. They've come to Sarajevo to watch military maneuvers, but really that's an excuse. It's their anniversary. They've come to get away from the stifling courts of Austria, where the Archduke's marriage to Sophie will never be accepted due to her low birth. She was, after all, only a countess. But things have been really tense in this part of the empire. The Serbian agitators have been acting with increased boldness to demand a Serbia free and independent from Austrian rule.
I don't understand this at all. Franz Ferdinand was actually planning to be a lot more tolerant to the other ethnic groups and give them more autonomy. So I don't understand why they would try to assassinate him. It's very, very big rude.
And this day of all days falls on the anniversary of one of the greatest battles in Serbian history, the Battle of Kosovo. It's one of the great rallying points of the Serbian people, a point of national pride. To Serbian nationalists, this is one of their proudest days, and to them, for the Archduke of Austria, the symbol of their oppression, the embodiment of foreign rule, to come here on that day was the greatest insult. Now, perhaps the Archduke had chosen that day to show solidarity, to ease tensions, to make the people of Serbia understand that he cared about their traditions. Maybe he simply didn't know that the day had any special importance, and he was just there to get away. But whatever the reason, he was ill-informed. For on any other day, the events that are about to play out may not have happened. On any other day, this might have turned out simply to be your average parade, an event which wouldn't even go down as a historical footnote in a long and prosperous rule. But something had to happen on this day. It was too symbolic, too important, too grand of a story. And so the first domino is placed in the mad and improbable events of this 28th day of June 1914. So here now, in the sleek black car, the royal couple begins to process down the streets of Sarajevo, flanked by 5 other cars filled with officials and guards. It's a parade. The streets are lined with onlookers, the route has been published, the world knows exactly where the Archduke is going to be. And those young men from that cafe in Belgrade are there in that crowd. They are nationalists. They're patriots. They're assassins and terrorists. They call themselves Young Serbia, and are part of the much more ominously named Black Hand. And they are angry. Angry in the way that only young men can be. And when I say young, I mean that barely any of them had reached the age of 20. They had in them an anger born of ideals, or they had ideals to rationalize their anger. A boldness born of a cause or a cause to justify the brash kind of risk-taking that truly borders madness. But however you view them, here they were, hidden in the crowd.
Oh my god, I'm gonna try to move somewhere else. I hate these.
One by one, the Archduke's car passes his would-be assassins. Nothing happens. No attempt on his life. 2 of his assassins ended up succumbing to fear and couldn't go through with the deed. One felt pity for his wife sitting in the car and just couldn't bring himself to pull the trigger. Another one had an equipment malfunction. And so, one by one, Ferdinand passed them, none the wiser, smiling and waving to the crowd, smiling and waving in an open-top car so the world could better see. But at last, on the Commercia Bridge, an assassin finally steps forward and throws a bomb at the Archduke's car.
Oh, this one doesn't work.
Seconds before it lands, Ferdinand sees it and
dives
hides behind the door of the car as the bomb passes over him and bounces into the street behind. An explosion ripped through the ground, mangling the car following them and leaving 20 people wounded and bleeding on the street. The assassin leaped over the side of the bridge to make his escape, but in the type of amateurish planning that would be comical if the circumstances weren't so grave, he fails to realize that the river below is only 4 inches deep, and he hurts his leg in the fall. In one last act of comic tragic bravado, the assassin swallows the cyanide pill he's been carrying, a final "you'll never take me alive" gesture. But alas, these young high school assassins had bought their suicide pills on the cheap, and this one was way past its shelf life.
God.
So the young man just sits quietly vomiting into the river while the...
I guess that answers the question of if poison is more dangerous if it was expired, or it'd be less dangerous if it was expired. But I think it's pretty obvious that even if you didn't watch this part of the video, that it's obviously less dangerous. Because then, if it was more dangerous, it wouldn't be considered expired. You know what I mean? Jeez.
Police roll down to take him very much alive. The motorcade races back the way it came, sirens screaming, and the city begins to lock down. Another of the young men, a 19-year-old named Gavrilo Princip, watches the cars go by, heart sinking. So it's done, he thinks to himself. It's off. The Archduke is alive. The assassination's failed. He is pretty bummed out. His hopes to be immortalized in the halls of Serbian heroes are dashed. All his dreams of glory just shattered. Overall, it's been a pretty lousy day. So he goes off to pout, thinking maybe a snack will make me feel better. This one young man's comfort snack may seem like a small thing, but it's on the small things that history often turns. Back at City Hall, the Archduke
how do they
and
know
the mayor
all these
are having
details?
words. The mayor proposes that the Archduke and Duchess should continue on their trip, but the Archduke thunders back something like, "Are you crazy?
Yeah,
You'd have us
exactly.
visit museums while bombs explode on your streets?" And then, in a gesture of gallantry that you don't often see anymore, he proposes instead that they immediately visit the hospital where the wounded were taken after the attack. So they don't hide him in a bunker or spirit him out of the country with a small army of guards like we would do today.
Gosh.
Instead, they all pile out to the motorcade and start off towards the hospital. But nobody remembers to...
Okay, that's very nice. But what the heck? Why would you do that? Bombs just hit you. That's very scary. You don't know if they have more? You don't know if there's other people involved in the assassination attempt? 20 people were just wounded. That's very bad. Now you're gonna get wounded and, except you're gonna die. And then you start World War One.
Tell Franz Ferdinand's driver, and I should mention that this is the Archduke's personal chauffeur. This fellow came along with the Archduke for the trip, but he's Austrian through and through. This guy does not know his way around Sarajevo. And so, as they're making their way through the city, the Archduke's driver makes a wrong turn onto Franz Joseph
Oh my
Street,
god.
a street named for the Archduke's father. Meanwhile, our failed assassin, Gavrilo Princip, is sitting outside eating his consolation snack and starting to feel maybe a little better. And maybe this won't be his only chance, he thinks. Maybe someday he'll have another shot at greatness. I mean, it was a really bad day, but who knows, it could still turn out.
No!
He'd have to go into hiding for a while, but holy, is that the Archduke? Yes, right there in front of him, in the same open-topped car, was the Archduke and his wife. The driver had taken a random wrong turn onto the street where Gavrilo Princip was having a sandwich, and their car had just stalled out trying to back up. 3 strides away. Gavrilo can hear the Archduke and his wife talking from the car. No words, just actions. He stands up, pulls out his pistol, and he fires 2 shots that change the world. The Archduke looks over, barely noticing the gendarmes wrestling the young man by the car to the ground. His only sight is for his wife, lying quietly on the floor of the car. He reaches out with a hand weak and heavy. Something's wrong with his neck. He can't quite think straight. He sees her and he utters one last wish. Sophie, Sophie, don't die. Live for our children. A man leans over him and asks if he is badly hurt, and he thinks he says, "It's nothing. It's nothing." He repeats the phrase, each time a little more quietly, and neither of them live through the hour. And so our first act is done. A martyred prince and princess, or the death of oppressors. An act of terror or a heroic strike for freedom. An act that relied on 1,000 coincidences, on a poorly chosen date, on a change of plans, on a misinformed
I
driver,
don't have
and on
any
a
words
sad
for
young
this.
man
That's
having
crazy. How does that even happen? Like, what are they gonna do now? Like, as well. I know that there was, an ultimatum sent to Serbia, and that they declined it. But there's gotta be more. They can't just be like, "Oh, we're declaring war and just start World War One." No, there has to be something else. That's ridiculous. Like, the Entente has to have at least some sympathy, especially since Franz Ferdinand was actually going to help, the Croats, the Serbs, the Czechs, the Slovaks, all that, all that. And
sandwich. But no matter how you look at it, it was an act that began the greatest war in history and brought to an end the world that all of these actors knew. This war would change the world. Join us next time and find out how the world responds to this event.
Wow, that was only 8 minutes, and that oh my gosh, that's heavy. Whoa, I didn't think that was like, whoa, just so many coincidences. He was there at the wrong time. He missed. He went the wrong way, and just because Franz Ferdinand's anniversary happened that day, the Austro-Hungarian Empire ended, the German Empire ended, the Ottoman Empire ended, and tens of millions of people died. And on top of that, it started to spark World War II just a few decades later. Wow. So thank you guys for watching. That great video. Make sure to check out Extra History. I'll have the link of the original video in the description. And have a great day. And bye.